Jaynet Oceanview Resort, a humble resort owned by Mr. and Mrs. Garvez located in Boljoon, Cebu. This is the fruit of hard work of the Garvez family, Mr. Garvez being an aircraft maintenance engineer in Alberta, Canada, while Mrs. Garvez works in home care service in the same country. Here is the perspective view plan of the resort. This project was started on the year 2011. The first floor, the second floor, an approximate 20 feet high riprap was built amounting to 1 million pesos with the use of local stones. The second floor facing the ocean and facing the highway. The rooftop rebar and concreting. Roughing, concreting, and tiling. The 600 square meter lot was bought in year 2010 for 300,000 pesos. Second floor terrace facing the ocean. On year 2019, the pool and the jacuzzi was constructed. Rebar footing and beam. Rebar of the main pool, kiddie pool, and jacuzzi. Pump house piping. The pool was sourced out from swimming pool contractors. The quotation was at 3 million pesos, so they hired one experienced and skilled worker with an expertise in making pools with local workers to assist. It ended up that the pool costed 1.5 million pesos from the equipment, materials, and labor. That's a 50% saving from the first quotation. The owner, although living miles and miles away from the Philippines, personally supervised the construction and, of course, the people, with the use of communication channels such as calls and social media. The owner's extra salary was splurged for the construction of the project. This project amounted to more than 12 million pesos. Although this seems to be a lot of money, and spending it wasn't a problem to the owner because it provided a source of living to the local people or the residents. The owner, Mr. Garvez, still oversees the resort. He also hired booking manager, site manager, front desk, and those who look after the housekeeping, laundry, and of course, a cook. Even with the pandemic, the resort continues to thrive and operate with safety protocols observed. The resort is then again operating to accommodate visitors, guests, and tourists. Before the pandemic, 80% of the guests are foreign people, since the resort is just a short drive away from the famous attractions like the whale shark watching in Slob and other magnificent falls. Mid-pandemic, guests are now 100% locals, most of which are from the same island. So here's a short backstory of the owners of Jaynet Oceanview Resort. On 1997, Mr. Garvez flew to Canada all by himself with no friends and family, and he started to work in a manufacturing industry. On the following year, his wife and kids also flew to Canada, and Mrs. Garvez started to work while the kids are sent to school in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. It was year 2002 when Mr. Garvez studied aircraft maintenance engineering and completed the program in 2 years. He was very determined to finish, although he was 40 years old during that time and most of his classmates were aged 18 to 20. On year 2003 and 2005, he got the job as an apprentice aircraft maintenance engineer in a small helicopter company. On year 26 to 2011, he got his license as an aircraft maintenance engineer and got hired in the biggest helicopter company in Canada. Between 2009 and 2011, he was assigned in Afghanistan, flying all over the country with a helicopter. He flies 6 to 8 hours a day and worked with the US Army but as a contractor with a Canadian company. On year 2011, he bought a property in the Philippines, specifically in Boljoon, Cebu, which is the birthplace of his wife. That's the same year that the resort was being started in construction, in which he had almost 40 workers, so he had to lead the work. On the next year, Mr. Gervais started to work in a machine shop, and at the same time, he takes his apprenticeship as a machinist specialized in computer numeric control machining. 2013 to 2017, global economy was troubled due to decrease in oil and gas prices. He was let off to move from companies to companies 4 times, but eventually he got a job as a journey machinist in 2016. And on the year 2019 up to present, he works as a journeyman CNC machinist at Flowserve. Despite the fluctuating life in Canada, by God's grace, we were able to build and manage our business in the Philippines. And on the year 2016, they moved back to Edmonton, Canada and bought their own house.
These country roads take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. All my memories gather round her.